Oh my god, yeah, you have to cut out that part of it.
No, it's real. Okay, welcome to our Tide Talk, because Ted just didn't feel like it fit us. So
Nope.
we wanted to get on and share a little bit about what we kind of worked through ourselves today. Being that we're deep in healing and we work a lot in healing, we also are always going through that ourselves. But we happen to be on a drive today to East Texas. Shout out, that's our favorite drive.
2-hour drive?
Yeah. And we just started casually kind of talking about like life and what our life was 10 years ago. And it all started because I said how much if I was going to live somewhere again that had the beach that wasn't, Texas or somewhere else. It was a really beautiful place. But with that also came a lot of memories. Memories that you think you've worked through, or memories that we would have classified already as having been that we've healed them, but they're still in there, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Or just bringing up stuff that were in the archives that you just thought you would never think about ever
again. Like, I mean, some of the stuff we were talking about today, we were like, holy crap, we really went through that. Or we don't even realize how much of that truly was such a big part of our life, because we never made it our story. And our story doesn't define who we are now, but we also said we wouldn't trade a moment of what we went through, because we wouldn't be able to be here and be who we are if we didn't have those things happening to us.
Right.
But we also realized that those things to most people would be catastrophic. Sometimes most people probably wouldn't make it through some of that stuff, and then we were in the car being able to talk and kind of laugh about it.
Yeah. I mean, just sitting there and then not realizing how horrible some of these things are until you say them out loud. And I guess it's just easier for you and I to like talk about it and like not make a big deal out of it, because it's you and I.
Yeah.
And I guess that brings me back to, like, a lot of people don't have what you and I have, or, like, a friend to lean on. And for someone to be able to sit through it with you and talk about it rather than make it a bigger story than it is.
Yeah. You could stay on, like, what it actually was, and that person isn't chiming into being like, well, that person was that, or, it sucks that you went through that. We got to actually just speak from what it felt like in that moment, because sometimes also we forget, we go to remember the really positive things about that stuff, but also stored right behind those positive things were things that we were fighting for our life, in a sense, to get through. Having somebody, or at least we've realized, what may be just an everyday conversation for her and I is not an everyday conversation for a lot of people. If anything, I don't really think a lot of friendships, relationships, any sort of relationship in general.
Technically, whatever your partner, your best friend, your sister, it's all a relationship.
It all is.
Kids. I mean, we sit here and joke about, how she's my partner and she's my wife, but she really is. She's my wing woman, my right hand, Chad and Chuck. I mean, we live together, we raise kids together, we literally do everything together. And it goes to show that, like, if you don't have someone like a true partner, someone that's actually there for you, willing to help you grow, willing to listen to you, not feed into your bullshit. I mean, hold you accountable and not agree with everything that you have to say. Like, that is a true partnership. Someone that is going to be like, no, I don't agree with that, or you sound kind of insane, but let's talk about it. I mean, we've been so desensitized, but also just, I guess, programmed to go with, like, oh yeah, that person treated you shitty, let's hate them. And that's not the case.
No, because
you're not always right about everything.
No, and also we play a role in every part of our life. So we could sit back here and bounce stories back and forth to each other about, wow, how in the world do we go through that? And a lot of the times, and she'll be the first to say it or call me out for when I say it, is I do not like the story, because the story keeps you looped in it, and you're constantly using it as, well, I went through this, even if you're not using it in a negative way anymore, but that's still your story. And that story has to end with that person that you've worked through. And it's not that you can't have that person, it's that that version you doesn't exist anymore. And so why do you keep rewriting it in the history? But it also goes to show that if you don't know the tools, or you don't have somebody that's safe enough to talk to like we do. I mean, she's been my best friend for 24 years now. And in those 24 years, we have fallen apart multiple times. We have had different lives. We've come back together in our lives. But one thing that's always stood is our love and our friendship between each other. And it didn't matter if it was a year ago that I saw her, we always picked back up right where we were. You know, we can tell each other anything because there is no judgment. And also, it doesn't mean that Taylor knows every single thing about me in my life.
I mean, some things are sacred to you. Like, just because Shelby's my best friend, my sister, I've known her for so long, doesn't mean she knows everything that goes on inside of my brain. Like,
No.
we each are our own people, and we have our own thoughts. And regardless of the relationship you have with someone or how close you are with them, it doesn't mean that they are going to know you to your core like you know you to your core.
No.
And that is important, to have that sacredness with yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have to share every single aspect of your life to be able to relate to someone or to get somebody to understand you. Some of those things are meant to just be for you.
Yeah. And that also goes to show that, you know, after we had that moment this morning where we were kind of reminiscing, it also then brought up some emotional areas, you know, for me personally in my chest. And out loud, I just go, I'm safe. You know, I forgive me. I forgive what that time was. But wow, have I come a long way. And I have worked through that. But this whole month, which was kind of why I said, you know, some people do need to know this, is all about bringing your past back. Not to punish you, not to show you that you haven't gotten really far, because you have. It's bringing it back one last time so it is not stuck within your body after decades, or, you know, however long it's been there, whatever is surfacing for you. It's not here to punish you. It's here to show you how far you've come, or what cannot come with you for this life that you have asked for. So sometimes if we don't know that, we're in this thinking, oh my gosh, you know, a lot of people are talking to their lives feel like they're flipping upside down. That's not because that's bad. I don't look at anything as good or bad. Everything is for a reason, and that has to happen in order for you to grow, in order for you to take on what it is that you ask. But you can't bring the past with you. It does not exist anymore. Neither does the present yet. And so being in the future, being able to ride through what's going on is so important. Well, then obviously I did that on my way. I let it go. We laughed about it. We just talked about other stuff. Taylor gets back in the car and she has something. Every part of me, because I love her, would want to, are you okay? What is, you know, and instead that wasn't my moment. That was her moment. It was her moment to sit with whatever that came, because there was a power in it. And she literally had to take a breath, almost in a sense, for the first time. But I gave her that. I didn't ask what was wrong. I didn't go, oh, holy shit, that person. I just let her have that. And when the time was right, she felt the need to share it with me, or it led into actually just us kind of bouncing off why we felt we needed to start coming on and talking more, because our story to us may be really average, but it's actually really, you know, in some people's lives, those are things that they would never even think to talk about, or even allow themselves to have that moment in the car.
Yeah, I mean something that may be detrimental to you, and somebody else is looking at you like that's not that big of a deal, but to you it was. I mean, we're all affected by things differently. We all take things differently, and just because someone wants to downplay it doesn't mean that it's not important, or it didn't make you feel a certain type of way, or just because this other person sees something what different. They see doesn't mean that you can't have feelings and you can't feel a certain way about something. But it is really important that whoever you choose to be around, your environment matters. You have someone that is willing to sit with you, knows the right times to ask, or, you know, get you to talk, or just looks at you and is like, you know what, I don't need to ask that right now. Like, I'm gonna let her breathe and just be here.
And that is something, that unconditional love that we always fall back on talking about, is when you unconditionally love somebody, you're just giving, and in return you're receiving. Because when she's okay, that, of course I'm happy, but at the same time, what a gift it was for her to have that moment on her own, and not for me to take that moment from her. But we just really appreciate that we get to do what we get to do every day, and that we get to do it together. but that we can share our heart in hopes that we can help somebody through these times as well, just because we know where we were at one point in time and what has changed for us in just a year.
Right. I mean, I'm so big on you can change your life within 6 months. You can be a different person than you